This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by the sniper, Lerrone Richards, over Zoom. Lerrone, firstly, Happy New Year. I hope you had a good one and a good Christmas. Did you get up to much?
No, just spent time with the family after the fight. Just enjoyed family time because I hadn't seen them in ages. So it was lovely. How was yours?
It was good, mate. It was quiet. It was peaceful. I spent the back end of last year out in America, so it was just good to be back home with my family and my friends. But away from that, obviously, just to touch on or to go back to a very successful night's work of the office for yourself, picking up that IBO title against Carlos Gongora. Just to go back to it, Lerrone, sometimes past now, nearly a month has passed now since you two shared the ring. Just kind of your reflections on it.
Yeah, it was a good victory. I boxed the guy that was avoided. No one wanted to fight. I stepped up to the plate, and got the job done. I was the underdog in the fight on paper, but I never thought I was. I thought I was always the favorite going into it. But I got the job done, and I've cemented myself in showing everyone that I'm a world-class operator.
We spoke on the phone the other day, Lerrone, and as I said to you, it was a very good performance. Carlos Gongora, as you mentioned, is somebody who seems to have been avoided, for a little bit now. When you was in the ring with him, did you see why he was avoided, or was it more so you just produced such a good display that you never really felt like you understood that type of acknowledgement towards him?
No, I knew what I signed up for. Carlos Gongora had a good amateur pedigree, two-time Olympian, came off that big win, upset win in the previous year. So I knew what he brought to the table. Southpaw, could punch, So I went into the fight knowing fully well that I was in a tough fight, but I knew that my skill set and my ability would take me through it, and so it did.
How would you critique your performance, Lerrone? It seems to be the only thing which people bring up with yourself is maybe wanting to see you put your foot on the gas a little bit more when you are in a comfortable position. Is that something which you acknowledge, which you agree with?
When it came to sort of the other fights previously, I could agree with that. But with this fight, I had to be very disciplined. I was in the ring with a big puncher. I couldn't be too greedy. I had to follow instructions. I had to follow the game plan, which I done. And, the main things that I got the victory. I boxed well doing it. And yeah, maybe it wasn't, a fan-friendly fight, but I know there's a lot of people out there that enjoyed the boxing side of it. And, I got the job done. We moved forward, and hopefully there'll be some more big fights in the future.
I mean, you mentioned big fights in the future. That victory, what do you think it sent out to the rest of the division? What statement do you think you've sent out?
Do you know what? I feel like I sort of gate crashed the world scene. No one thought that I would get there so quick. Obviously now I'm top 10 in the Ring magazine. I'm in line for some big fights, and now all the world, say, level fighters, contenders know exactly who Lerrone Richards is, and I can't wait to be in the mix.
I was going to say we're seeing some reports that we're expecting the Matchroom and DAZN schedule to be announced any day or any hour now. Have you got anybody in mind? Have you had any conversations about when you will be out next?
Well, we're looking for me to get out in April. I would like to be out 3 times this year. My team S-Jam are in talks with Frank Smith and Eddie, seeing what the opponents are, available, and what challenges they have for me in the near future.
It's a difficult one now. You look at it in that world scene. Obviously, Canelo's got those titles all kind of locked up now, and it's up to him what he does. Does he stick at 168? Does he go up to cruiserweight to face Makabu, or just jump up to 175? Nobody really knows, and that's for him to decide. So, with that in mind, how difficult does it make it the decision for you as to where you can go next with your own career, because there's not really a clear path to take, as it were?
Well, for me, like from the beginning of my career, I've always stayed in my own lane. So I've only had 16 fights, British, Commonwealth, European, WBO European, WBO International, now the IBO World. So I've accomplished quite a lot in just 16 fights, and it's all about gaining this experience now at this world level. So, I don't know what Canelo's doing. To be honest, I don't really care. I'm just doing me, and my team SJAM will plan out a good route for me to go down.
Is there anybody you do look at and you think that would be a good fight for you next?
There's some good fighters out there like Fedor Chumanov. That's a good fight. Caleb Plant, he's another one. Anthony Durrell. There's some good fights out there for me, and I'm in a position now to call these fights, and I'm in I've got the best promoter in the business that can make these fights happen. So, the future's bright, and I can't wait to see what it holds.
I mean, mentioning a couple of names there, which I was going to bring up, Plant in particular, simply because past opponent of Canelo's, former world champion, of course.
Yes.
Is that the level which you're looking at, the guys who have now operated at world level, whether they've been a world champion or not, but at least operated up there for yourself, just to continue to gauge as to where you are in your own career?
Well, yeah, I think, beating Carlos Gongora puts me in that bracket as a world-class fighter. So, because I see there's world-class and then there's elite. I'm not elite yet. I've still got a long way to go. But when it comes to, with experience, a long way to go with experience, so to say. But when right now I'm world-class, and guys like Caleb Plant, we're in the same bracket. So, these fights can be made.
I'm interested, Lerrone, you mentioned you've got elite, you've got world class. Who would you put in elite? Obviously, Canelo, he's elite, he's the best that there is. But aside from him, who else would you say is in that bracket?
Well, in the super middleweight division?
Yeah.
Just Canelo.
Just Canelo.
Yeah.
So with Plan, is that a name which you feel you'll start calling for, or you'll mention it to Eddie when you do have a catch up with him?
It's a funny situation where now I don't really feel I need to call out anyone. I'm in a good position. I should be in a good position with all the governing bodies now. Top 10 in the Ring magazine. So look, if anyone wants it, I'm more than happy to fight. I believe in my ability 100%. I've got the skills, and I've proven that numerous amount of times. So, let's go.
There have been some back and forth between Caleb Plant and Rocky Fielding over social media over this past day or so. Just to get your thoughts, let's say if those two were to clash next, what's your take?
Mate, I don't care. Rocky Fielding's a joke, man. He's a joke, man. I don't know what he's doing with his career. When I won the European title, he was talking about, fighting me, and then it went quiet. He's had one fight out in Dubai. I don't know what is going on with his career. Don't really care. He's irrelevant.
So you said, and I take it you've got no interest in revisiting a potential fight there?
I don't need to chase Rocky Fielding. If he wants it, he knows where I am. But he's a joke, man.
Away from Rocky, another fight which is expected to be announced is John Ryder and Danny Jacobs. Just get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Two world-class fighters. I'll be there ringside, and hopefully I'll get the winner of that.
Again, so what I was about to ask you, is that two guys, John's fought at world level before Danny, a former two-time world champion. The winner of that, is that the ideal type of fight for you?
Yeah. When I was European champion, John Ryder was mandatory. Obviously, he had other options. More better options for himself in his career, which I can respect. But yeah, I would have definitely taken that fight then when I was European champion. And, obviously now I've shown everyone I'm a world-class fighter. Of course I'll take that fight. I love that fight. It's always nice to have a British dust up as well, isn't it?
Is that the one thing which I think, from the sounds of it, you're really looking forward to, is the potential to face somebody in a headline fight with a fellow British super middleweight?
Yeah, I don't mind. It is nice. Obviously, I had one with Lennox Clark, which was exciting. But listen, I don't know what the future holds. But all I know is bright, and I just cannot wait.
And just a few other topics I want to get your thoughts on. Obviously, campmate of yours, Lerrone, fell short against Joseph Parker. Showed a lot of heart in that fight to get up from the knockdowns. Just to go back to it, just get your thoughts on Derek's performance in that bout.
Yeah, he showed so much heart. Do you know what? I've got a lot of time for Derek. Obviously, when he joined Dave Coldwell's gym again, me and him were going for lunch, we're talking. He gave me so much like wisdom, and a lot of conversations we had together was I learned a lot from. And obviously, him fighting and him putting on a performance like that, boy, that heart he's got, that grit and determination, is you got to respect it. And I've got a lot of respect for Derek, and I wish him all the best in the future.
With Derek, we saw Eddie say he wouldn't mind seeing him face Deontay Wilder next. It's had a bit of a mixed reaction from people online, simply because through Derek's career, he's had a lot of tough fights, which people see is maybe accumulated to take a bit out of him now. And Deontay, everybody knows the damage he can cause people with the power he possesses. Yeah. As a former campmate of his and as a friend of his now, would you be open to seeing him face Deontay Wilder?
Listen, Lerrone can give any heavyweight in the world problems. I don't want to see him fight Deontay Wilder. I think I want to see Derek in other fights like, Chris Arreola, Andy Ruiz, them sort of fights, because you'll see the best of Derek and they'll be entertaining. And I don't want to see him with Wilder. I don't think he needs that.
And away from that, just two fights which are coming up again. Just get your thoughts on. Firstly, Amir Khan and Kell Brook on Feb 19th. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that fight. A lot of people are talking about how it might happen a little bit too late, but I don't think that don't really bother me. I'm just happy that it's happening now. I'm going to try to get to it, but it is a good fight, and I just can't wait to see who comes up on top.
Who do you edge towards?
It's a hard one, I don't. Do you know what? I'm going to sit on the fence on this one.
Oh, come on, get those splinters out.
You know what? I don't usually sit on the fence, but I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. Yeah.
Right. So, are you going to sit on the fence with Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams?
Nah. No. I think that it's a good fight. I think it's a very good fight. Liam Williams, up until he boxed Dimitri Andrade, was destroying everyone. He was on terrific form. He's now joined up with Adam Booth. So, Adam Booth's a tactician. He'll have a game plan in place. Eubanks is with Roy Jones Jr. I don't think that style really suits him. So I'm going to go for Williams on points.
Right, Lerrone, we will leave it there now. I'll leave you to enjoy it the rest of your day. But I'll leave a final message to yourself for everybody who's going to tune in to follow you this year and beyond. What would you like to say to them?
Just want to say thank you for everyone that supported me, and can't wait for this year. It's going to be a big one, big fights, exciting fights. This year will give me more of the fights that I'll be getting. Will give me more of an opportunity to showcase everything, what I'm all about, and show what improvements I've made under Dave Coldwell. Just want to thank my sponsors, FCI Markets, Paul Strank, BoxFit, for all the support. Yeah, the future's bright. The future is black and yellow.
Right, Lerrone, I appreciate your time. I'll leave you now to enjoy your day. Like I say, thank you for speaking to me on Boxing Social.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you very much.